Hello there. How you guys doing? Happy Tuesday. Nice timing on the emote, because, yeah. Been a while since I've had my hair loose on the stream, but, uh, it is actually starting to get a tiny bit colder in this room, surprisingly. So, might as well appreciate it. But yeah, like, currently it's below 23 degrees, so hasn't been that for at least a couple of weeks, potentially? I don't know. Don't know how long exactly, but it feels like a while. So, yes. Yes. Yeah. Hope you've all had a nice weekend. Uh, oh, yes, thank you for the 30 stream watch streak. Also, thank you for, like, the hype train that was happening during the startup screen. So, um, the 56-month resub and the 41 tier 2 resub, and also the 100 bits, all of which happened while I was still starting up. So, yes, thank you so much for the support. Like, I am still planning on adding even more emotes, so now that no, I didn't get an emote for the hype train because I now have all the tier 1 emotes that are currently available. They do sometimes switch them out, like do seasonal emotes and stuff, but still, for now, I have all the tier 1 emotes, apparently. Or level 1, whatever. I don't even know which ones exactly are the level 1 emotes, but there's probably a list somewhere. But either way, apparently I have all the current ones. Like, I know there was, at some point in the past, a spider hype train emote, but I never actually got that one, and I believe they discontinued it. Probably because people didn't like it, because, you know, spiders. So, yeah. Either way, I'm sure they'll eventually add more again, and we'll also have some in there that I don't have yet. So, also, I forgot to change my desktop resolution, so I'll switch that around. If stuff glitches out for a second, that's why. There. Because RollerCoaster Tycoon, I tried to, like, the way I run it on my end, especially with running it in windowed mode, I do have to run it through DXWND, and with commandos, I can actually have that game basically adjust to my monitor size to where I don't have to change my monitor resolution. Because, yeah, for a lot of games, that is kind of required. Because, like, my eyesight isn't that great. I'd rather have stuff be a bit bigger and not have to use a magnifying glass. So, like, I don't have eagle eye vision even with glasses. So, yes. Uh, but anyhow, uh, with RollerCoaster Tycoon, I tried to set it up the same way that I did for Commandos, and it just didn't work. So, yeah, don't know why. Do I have the vision of a snail? Well, I don't know exactly what the eyesight of a snail is. Like, how far can a snail see? I don't know. But, yeah. Anyhow, point being, like, for me, having like a 4K monitor, I don't have a reason to do that because I feel like my vision doesn't even have that resolution. Like, that level of detail to me is very subtle if I notice it at all. So, I have my full HD, I think, is the 1080 one. Whatever the other name for that resolution was. But yeah, I have two of those monitors, and I have absolutely no intention of switching to 4K. Because, yeah. Like, I don't know, um, for those of you who have 4K stuff, like, if you can actually really see the difference, because, yeah. I mean, I can kind of tell, but really not that much. Especially with how it seems to take a lot more resources to play games in 4K. So, yeah, I'd rather have a better frame rate than play in 4K. So, yeah. Thank you for the 25 stream watch streak. How are you doing today? But yeah, I'm sure there are people who can tell the difference better than I can. Like, clearly my eyesight isn't the greatest. I still like things that look pretty, but seeing every single detail from far away is not my thing. So, that is that. Because, like, far away for someone who is as nearsighted as me is surprisingly close. Like, without my glasses, I can see properly to, like, around, like, this distance from my face. So, yeah. Haven't counted all the violet spots, no, but, like, her spots are not that small. So, yeah. Like, I can see a lot of details in things, because my vision, especially without glasses, I can see quite well really close, as in, possibly better than people who aren't as short-sighted, or nearsighted, whatever. Yeah, don't know. I feel like my eyes kind of work like a microscope. But far away, no, not that great. So, anyhow. You're learning to play the violin. How is that going? Like, I have never tried to play a violin, so, yeah. Um, well, for me, my eyesight is so bad that there is absolutely no chance of me being able to do something like driving. I personally don't have a driver's license, but if I did, it would be very much unsafe for me to drive without glasses. I would not be able to read any signs outside of a car. And I do think being able to do that is kind of relevant. So, like, speed limit signs, I have a feeling even those would be kind of difficult. Because, like, obviously there's also other things you're supposed to be looking at. You're not supposed to just be staring at the speed limit sign until it's just close enough so you can read it. So, yeah. I never know unless I try it. Well, I can take off my glasses and just look around, and I can tell you I'm bad at seeing very far. So, yeah. Yeah, it also makes sense that driving requires a vehicle, yes. Of course, but as I said, also don't have a driver's license, so I'm not gonna attempt to drive just in general without a driver's license. But, yeah. Like, for me, if they even attempted to get me to try and drive without glasses, I would tell them, yeah, now we're not doing that, because, like, if I'm, like, putting on makeup or something near my eyes and can't wear glasses for it, I end up bumping into the mirror because I have to be that close. So, not safe to even attempt anything like that. So, anyhow. Driving sucks. I mean, some people really seem to enjoy it. Some people even seem to do that for fun. Not me, clearly. But there are people who, like, seem to get cars that they only drive around, like, when it's nice weather and on the weekend, which are just completely impractical otherwise. So, yeah. I don't get it. But clearly, would I get into a self-driving car? I honestly don't think so. Self-driving trains and stuff, sure. Cars, I don't think the technology is going to be anywhere close to where it would need to be anytime soon. So, no, I, I, I don't think they're currently safe. So, nope. I'd rather stay away from them. Like the fully self-driving, not stuff there's some stuff that has existed for a while, with like helping to stay within the lane on the highway. So stuff like that is kind of, I think, partial self-driving or whatever it's classified as. But even just having a car that's completely self-driving properly stop at a stoplight or not drive into a construction site if there's like a temporary road closure. I don't want to risk it. Simple as that. So I prefer to not even be close to the outside of that car, let alone be on the inside of that car. So, yes. Well, I don't know how they set them up exactly, but presumably they have to make some sort of decision on if there's two options and both of them would result in likely serious injury or death, which option do you pick? Because you do have to pick. So, which one would it pick? I don't know. Would it prioritize the driver? Would it prioritize the large group of pedestrians on the sidewalk? I don't know. So, no thanks. It's not like humans are perfect drivers, but with how glitchy some technology is, like, my PC blue screens frequently enough. That with a self-driving car? At least I can survive my PC blue screening. I don't want to know what a self-driving car does if it would do the equivalent of a blue screen. So, no thanks. So, anyway. I just feel like stuff's just way too unreliable to risk your life on it just so you have personalized transport that you don't have to interact with too much. So, yeah. And no worries. Like, this channel is very lurker friendly. Like, for me, I'm quite chatty, in case you can't tell, but I'm also very shy. So, for me, in channels where I don't feel comfortable chatting, I tend not to stick around too much, weirdly enough. But yeah, I personally am incredibly shy. I struggle to exist around people. Yeah. So, yep. Socializing and stuff is not my thing. I am just, like, in a room talking in front of my monitor. If I was doing anything like this in front of an audience, I would be terrified. So, yep. But streaming is very different. So that helps. Well, the thing is, I specifically go to TwitchCon and similar conventions of people who are really into a hobby that I also like. Because then you have something in common. Going to anything that is a gathering nearly that crowded and is full of average people, as in not nerdy people, then I would struggle. I get very overwhelmed. I do not really know how to not stand in everyone's way simultaneously, and I'm just not having a good time. So, yeah. But specifically, TwitchCon, I do actually enjoy because most people there are the same. kind of. So it's kind of like a big gathering of the introverts who don't really know how to socialize, but they're trying their best. Me included. So, yes. Getting overstimulated, yeah, I can definitely relate with that. I guess to some extent I've just been desensitized to it as well. Like, I have also been to some concerts in the past. Nice thing about concerts is there's usually not that much moving around and interacting with people if you have an assigned spot to be in. So that helps. But yeah, just being around large groups of people is not my favorite, but I have had some practice at least. So that does help. But actually interacting with people, that's the terrifying part. So, yes. You have to smell floor paint for a couple of days. You have painted floors? Like, is it like painted wood floors, or more similar to like if you paint your wall but your floor instead? Yes, I do like Hammerfall, and also Powerwolf. Those are two groups I like. I've never actually seen either of them live, so there's that. But yeah. I don't know all of their music, but for Hammerfall, there are a couple of songs that I really like. For Powerwolf, there's more of them that I actually am familiar with. So, yes. Carpeted ceilings. I mean, even carpeted floors to me don't make sense. Like, you could put a rug on the floor, but attaching it to the floor is where, to me, it turns into... Why? Because how do you ever get anything out of there? Because... yeah. Yeah, specifically for Hammerfall, I'd say my favorite song is probably Dominion. I just like it. It feels very epic. So, yes. Yeah. But I believe both of those bands are considered power metal. I've never been to a concert that is within that genre, but like a lot of them seem to be open air, standing room only type concerts, and I'm short. I'm quite tiny for a human. Standing room only outdoors is not my thing. So I listen to their music indoors, just within my own space, and I'm very happy with that. But I have seen like clips of their concerts and stuff. Outdoor concerts, not for me. Especially standing room only outdoor concerts. I've been to one concert, like in the standing area of that concert, and yeah, it is a struggle. When you're shorter than the average person, yeah, it's not ideal for that. But I'm sure there's plenty of people who really, really enjoy them. I just feel like I'm kind of left out. So I don't think they have a specific standing section for people who are my size. So, yep. Anyway. Let's start up RollerCoaster Tycoon. There we go. Like for me, yes, screaming. For me, I got diagnosed with ADHD. And do actually have proper medication for it, and that is actually helping. Yep. So, doesn't mean that it magically fixes everything, but makes me less overwhelmed in crowded spaces. Okay. Yeah, let's just say that TwitchCon is kind of full of people who are in some way neurodivergent. That makes it a much nicer place for someone like me to be. Game volume's height, sorry. I believe I still have it louder because of Commanders and Hitman both having voice acting that's kind of relevant. So yes. There. So. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. I completely forgot to check that when I was starting the stream today. So. But yeah, for me, I'm considered late diagnosed. Apparently I was blending in well enough. So. Anyhow, where was I making changes when we last left off? Yeah, for me, I've actually also just been diagnosed with autism. So, yeah. My brain is not standard issue, but no big surprise there. So... I don't know. Not anything I can relate with. But it's not like everyone has those particular difficulties in life. So it's just that those of us who have those things kind of tend to group together. So yeah, for the people who go, oh, everyone has that, you're probably just surrounded by a group who's grouping together because they can all relate to each other. So, like for example, TwitchCon. Yeah, a lot of us are gravitating towards Twitch. I believe it was 2024 that they had some sort of talk on streaming at Neurodivergence, and I tried to get a seat, but it was full. They put it into too small of a room. There was rather high demand. So, yep. So it seems this improvised transport ride I built isn't really transporting as many people as I expected to. Like, that one's empty. I think that one's empty. That's full, that's full. I think that one's empty. So, not as many people using it as I was hoping. Tidiest park in the country, right? So, what was the exact goal? So I think it was a number of guests. So 1,500. We're mostly there. Like 280, no, 60 something. So... And yeah, of course, everyone is different. Like, no two brains are completely identical. I didn't mean it in that way. Just that, society is laid out in certain ways to benefit the average person, and And not that. I don't think there are that many new rides in here. Did I stop funding research? Oh. I think I researched everything. Oh. I mean, it is saying that they're working on initial research on something. So hopefully I didn't completely run out of stuff and I'm still paying for it. I'm confused. And for now we are losing money. Of course we are. And there is still a loan. Kind of forgot about that. Maybe should have been paying that back. Is the number of guests currently increasing? I think slightly. So maybe the advertising stopped? Yeah, it did. So, I mean, obviously I could do more advertising, but the finances aren't really looking great for that. So I might want to stabilize those a bit more so I don't just run out of money. So... the toffee apples are apparently good value. Okay. No clue what those are. I guess I'll just go through this menu. Oh. Apparently I have a lot of those. I forgot that that's one of the stalls I placed down pretty much everywhere. I think that was this one. Yes. It's just kind of nondescript. I remember that this one was lemonade, but no. This one is just specifically toffee apples. So, lemonade and toffee apples, part of a very balanced diet that you can live off of for several years, according to the people in this park. So, lemonade is good value, so I might be able to squeeze slightly more money out of that. Park map, yeah, I don't want to make that any more expensive. So, that might improve the finances slightly. Then, is this much staff really necessary? Because, I mean, the paths look clean. And these animen don't even have their own assigned area. So, I don't think this number is necessary. Like, the mechanics, I do think I do need 4 of them. Security guards, maybe not that many necessary, but... Yeah, the handymen, they mostly seem to just run around. Has that been broken? Don't know if it looks slightly different or not. No, that one's fine. Okay. Like with some of the bins and benches that go on the path, so the things that can get broken by guests. For some of them, the sprite of when they're broken versus intact looks very similar, so it can be difficult to tell. I'm currently not spotting any... Like, there's some full bins, but that's alright. They just need to be emptied eventually. But it does seem like they're no longer vandalizing the park as much. So maybe having a couple more security guards made all the difference there. Or just keeping the guests happier by providing food and drinks around every other corner. Okay, so there is some stuff to clean up. Yeah. So it's not like the handymen are completely unnecessary. People are still leaving a mess. But not as much as before. Yeah, here as well. So, we'll see if reducing the number of handymen working in the park was a mistake or not. It might be. Because now I'm seeing more and more spots that the handymen haven't been able to get to. But I think we did get the tidiest park award still. And I don't know just how fresh those puddles are. Mace ride. I guess that's this one. Yeah. I was reading that as maze, as in like a hedge maze, which I think I haven't built one yet. There is a fly trying to climb into my eye. Good. I did want to build a hedge maze, so since I don't think I've done that, I think I'll take a quick look around. Oh, did I? Right, I built this thing. Still feel this doesn't really count as a maze. Even if our guests like it, this thing is just... yeah. It's basically a queue. Like, they could have spots to attach those barrier rope thingies, like here and there and possibly one more, and just turn this into a queue with like permanent barriers and some temporary ones. But people seem to like it. Like, I've seen similar structures in places that have, well, they basically always have queues, but of varying lengths. And then they'll have a shortcut up until where the queue currently starts. But, yeah. That, but calling it a maze. I don't think they have to queue for it, at least. That would be quite silly. Having to queue to walk through the empty queue. I believe in this park I wasn't able to charge for using rides. I can charge for photos if the ride has an on-ride photo section. But yeah, otherwise I can charge at the entrance and for people buying like food and drinks and whatever else. I think the number of guests has gone up a bit. Like 10 or so, I think. Because I think last I checked it was 1,230 something. Now we're reaching 1,250. Very fitting since we even have a moat around this castle. But technically the moat isn't part of my plot of land. So I can't actually mess with the moat. Or the outer wall of the castle, I think. Yeah, exactly. Just the water under the drawbridge is actually part of the park. The rest of it is just scenery. It feels like the finances are somewhat stabilizing. Did have a loss in the previous month. Didn't spend on marketing. Still spending on research. Do I stop the research spending? I think I'm tempted to at least lower it. Because I don't even know if there's anything they're really researching. There has been at least one scenario where I ran out of stuff to research, but I can't remember if the game automatically stops the research spending after that. But maximum spending seems like a bit much. Especially when the park is struggling a bit. Like, reducing the research spending in that month would have meant that it was a profitable month. Okay, I guess we might need more mechanics, because it's starting to be a bit of a problem. I mean, this one was fixed now, but the rides that do break down seem to not get fixed as quickly as I would like. Well, I've apparently researched every type of tree and anything you could possibly have inside of an amusement park. Or anything you could possibly place down inside of an amusement park. I don't think there's any research regarding like getting more costumes for the entertainers in the park or something like that. We still have 2 of them. No clue where they are. Oh, walking on the castle wall. I guess that actually makes sense. Could even give them a specific route. It's starting to look a bit crowded on some of the paths. But I think we've had worse. And, right, those 2 entrances to the castle are blocked from that side. Only this one's available. There are quite a few people going on that route. But at least that path specifically has an information kiosk at the underground section. There. So, down here. So hopefully the park guests who don't already have a map get one there. I guess I could even specifically make this map be free. Well, fine. I don't want to make a loss on it. So, 10 cents because that's how much it costs the park. Because I really don't want people up in this area without a park map because they get lost. Because like all of these are separate walking paths. And the pathfinding. When you make a path that's more than 1 tile wide, it gets a bit silly. But I think with park maps it's a bit better. Like, they still sometimes just run in circles for no good reason. Yeah, Kim, we've definitely raided into her channel before. And she has raided here at least a few times. But she tends to start her stream after, like, around the time that I end my stream. So I tend to not stream late enough for that. So usually I end my stream before she ends her stream. Yeah, there's definitely some overlap in like people who watch our channels, so. So it's quite possible that you see some familiar faces if you also, or, well, familiar usernames, if you also watch other retro streamers. And especially within the European time zones for streaming within retro, it's a more close-knit community than the more like the time slots within the community that are more like while I'm asleep. Because I believe there's a lot more channels around that time, and especially a lot bigger channels. But yeah, I'm usually asleep, so I only hear about it in passing. So... So, there are definitely park guests without umbrellas. So hopefully I can reduce the loan a tiny bit and not immediately go into debt. Yeah. It feels like overall, like, the bins aren't getting too overly full in any location. Like, there are some spills to clean up, but not a huge amount of littering, so that's good. So I do think the number of handymen is not that far off now. Yeah, for me it's always fun to see some familiar usernames. Like, a lot of the time I'm not 100% sure, but I do vaguely recognize names and go, why do I recognize your username? But I usually don't actually ask. Are you, not in Europe? Because, I mean, my earbud cable got stuck. Anyway, okay, yeah. Like, for me, I also get up fairly early, but I get up so early that there tend not to be any people within Europe streaming that early. If anything, they're streaming really late. So. I mean, who starts streaming at like 4 AM? Within their own time zone. So. Yeah, for me, I have definitely watched quite a few channels outside of my own time zone because, like, I'd say the majority of people who start getting into streaming tend to stream in the evenings or only on the weekends. So, yeah, I don't tend to watch Twitch in the evenings. Or at least I tend not to really, like, look for new channels to watch. Yes, it is pretty much exactly 12, like 4 minutes off, but like, it's noon. So, just trying to see if there's anything going horribly wrong, because for now, it all seems quite stable. Which is good. Like, I feel like I should add more stuff to the cart, but it's also risky. And there is a massive loan that's kind of looming and eating into the budget. Not as much as I thought it does, but... yeah, I've also watched quite a few Australian streamers over the years. I can assume Mike is still streaming, but I think he at some point changed his schedule. I don't know. I'm just always confused when there's people who I think I had more schedule overlap with, but not anymore. Two weeks ago? I'm pretty sure I was off 2 weeks ago. Technically. But still, it could, like, be that he doesn't stream as frequently anymore. Like, I'm not aware of him having stopped entirely. But there are people who no longer do, like, weekly streams, but they might still stream, like, every other month. Also seen that happening in the retro community. So. But I'm very out of the loop. Just too many things to keep track of. And also not spending a huge amount of time on social media these days. It's just nicer to do other things. I think the finances have somewhat stabilized now. So the research spending is now down to 100 per month. Does Twitch count as social media? I'd say it can. Certain aspects, sure. But I was talking more about like the ones where you're just posting stuff and not like main content creation type spaces. Like, I mean, yeah, technically there are people who have, for example, Instagram as their main social media, and they don't, like, also create videos or something. But, yeah, not really the types of people I tend to follow that much. Yeah, fair enough. For me, I mainly just do my weekly schedule posts and not really checking it that much outside of that. Okay. Like, there are definitely spots that I'm not sure why they're never ever getting dealt with here as well. We're trying to assign routes to all the handymen, but I don't know how efficient that's gonna be. I guess worst case, it would probably delete the route if it's really not working out. So, where are the other routes? There they are. Okay. So, lock you over here. Okay. And then you deal with this path. Alright. I guess we can do up to this crossing. Feels weird to call it an intersection. because it's a walking path. I guess a fork in the road, kind of, or in the path. But now I'm trying to think of if there is a different word for it for when it's a walking path intersecting with another walking path. Is that still intersection? The connotation just feels like it's just for roads. Okay. You'd say it's for both, not just roads. I mean, like, I guess it is still intersecting. Let's hide the scenery. A cross section? I guess, yeah. Maybe. Nobody in this section of the path. But I also don't think this area is going to be that bad. So probably have them also do that area. People shouldn't be making too big of a mess. Wishful thinking. Okay. So... I do feel like this staircase needs some extra attention. Because apparently there's a lot of people littering around here. So I'll try and kind of give him the top of the castle wall as his route. Or at least part of it. That one's not even inside the park. There. Okay. Wait, did I already assign him a different route? Yes, I did. Whoopsie. I'm pretty sure I wanted to switch to a different handyman to do this part, but mistakes were made. It happens. Just have to pick somebody else to do that route. Oh, no, wrong guy. You. Okay. So, Handyman 3, you get this route. There. I think that's properly marked. There. Okay. Over here. 2 months ago. Good. But yeah, my point was just that sometimes it's difficult from my side to tell if people's schedules have changed drastically or if they're just not streaming as much or streaming on a different channel. I don't know. There's a path under here. Inside view. Interesting that this part of the path is actually outside of the castle grounds. Or outside of the park grounds. I just used Fractal Mind Mic as an example, since we were even talking about Australian streamers. But yeah, I believe my schedule used to have more overlap with his. But don't know. Now I'll be curious why there was a shout out. Because it does actually notify streamers. If so, hello. Wait. Like within the retro community, since I've been streaming within the community even for so long, it's just like you do see people come and go, or just their schedules change, and some of the time I am able to keep track of what's happening, but a lot of the time I'm not. Like, I'm not on every Discord server. This area is a mess. So, you are not assigned to a specific area yet. And lucky you, this is going to be your area. Oops. No, wrong buttons. See-through scenery. There. Yeah, I definitely have to be selective over which Discords I try and keep track of. There's just always so much going on, so feels kind of impossible. Especially when you're on some very large Discord servers that have like hundreds of people, there's always something going on. Watching movies in groups. Like, I've never really gotten into that too much, but I do know there are a fair number of people who use Discord for that. So hopefully this area won't be as much of a mess anymore. It does seem like the flowers also aren't being watered that much. I mean, I'd still say something like Discord can be very cozy, it's just sometimes a bit difficult to know how to use it effectively. So. Should I have more handymen? Because I don't want to assign the last one a route too. I mean, I'm enjoying the game still. Just at times difficult to really know how to keep the park clean. Because it's turning into a mess. There, I think. That's a decent one. I just think this route might be a bit too much for one handyman to effectively cover. But I tried. Best value park in the country. I personally feel like the retro community specifically on Twitch is especially cozy. Probably still some rides I should be adding. And I do think the finances are decently stable now, so I'll save again. Maybe I can get away with one more ride somewhere. Just shouldn't feel too out of place. Did I add a Ferris wheel yet? I mean, like, it's not the Mouse Castle themed thing, but I do think somewhere I have the ride that looks kind of like a wagon wheel. There, that one. But if I have the Ferris wheel be a similar color scheme, I think it might also kind of feel like it makes more sense. But if it's too Ferris wheel colored, and yes, I meant the wheel of a wagon. I'm not aware of a candy with that name, but there's so many candy brands internationally that I would not be surprised if there is one. I'll just put it back here. And then... oh, interesting. Didn't know I could put the exit on that side. So I put the Ferris wheel right here. Then put the exit right there. And then the entrance. So that would be 4 tiles of queue with the path design that I'm going for, so not too bad, I think. There. And the entrance. And changing the color scheme. I think it was the other shade. Yes, that one. And then just vaguely wagon wheel colored. Nope, that's pink. I misclicked. There. Feels a bit more medieval than of its primary colors. Because now it just demonstrates how a wagon wheel works. Totally. I mean, I don't know if that would be something that would have been sold as a digital thing, but that would be my first guess for where to look. have the wheel rotate backwards. Interesting. And sure, yeah. I believe the way it's set up right now is posting links is allowed. If it isn't, I don't believe it would ban you, because it's just the censoring out the links. So, at worst, it will just be, I think, like 3 stars instead of the link, so. Feel free to attempt to post it, and I will potentially alter the settings if necessary. A CD? Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it just feels like it would be a physical item that they would have been passing around. Because, like, I don't think the early internet was really used for that specific purpose. Downloading and uploading that many sound files. But I do wonder where you would have bought that stuff. The tower drop? Yeah. I think it's like 100 meters. Like, I don't know how accurate the calculations are, but according to this, their maximum speed is 120 kilometers an hour. So it's basically highway speed. Translation attempt. What are you translating? Like, I don't know what the game specifically is, so if you could mention the game's title, I would have an easier time knowing if I'm familiar with it. Translating a novel. And I don't think I've ever heard of that language. I'm thinking the handymen are doing a slightly better job now because of the patrol routes. Oh, so wait, is that thing on? Or am I way off? I'm confused. Actually, I should check how the stalls are doing. Okay. Balloon stall. Okay. I guess. Oh, it's closed. Whoops. And that one's closed. Fine. I didn't realize that when they're closed, they also still have the same exact running cost as when they're open. Maybe that was part of the financial problems. Just paying for the stalls to continue existing. Okay. I feel like I'm very out of the loop. Either way, hope translating an entire book ends up going well. To me, that seems like an overwhelming amount of stuff, but I'm also not an author, so I also don't write that much, let alone translate that much. But yeah, languages, not my thing. Like, yeah, I speak more than one language, but I feel like I'm not especially talented at languages. Okay. Yeah. For me, I struggle enough with the languages I do speak, and those are all related to each other, so that does make stuff easier, but it does make learning other languages that are more distantly related or not related at all. It makes learning those languages even more daunting, because when you're struggling enough with learning a language that has basically the same grammatical structure, it feels kind of impossible to learn something that has a completely different structure. So, can't say I've ever even tried. But I also don't think I would have much of a use in everyday life for it. So. I think none of the handymen are assigned to the, well, a path that looks like a drawbridge, but technically isn't a drawbridge. Which one of them is assigned over here? Was it handyman number 3? Almost. Was it number 4? Yes! So... see through scenery, probably. Okay. It looks like it connects. Maybe that will work out. There. Yeah, it is close to German, but sometimes in ways that make it even more difficult because words have similar but different meanings. Or it just feels like at some point there was a translation error and they just stuck with it. I'm surprised how smoothly stuff is going. The number of guests is going down though. And I haven't added anything new still. Or no, I did add the Ferris wheel, but clearly not exciting enough to increase the number of guests. are still just getting lost, but I don't think I messed up the path that much lately. So, probably just the same as always. Where did I put the Ferris wheel? I thought it was here. Maybe on this side? Oh, there it is. Found it. I think so. But specifically the question words for me are really easy to mix up because the word that in German would mean how. In Dutch, the same exact spelling is who. So, those ones yeah. Feels like somebody, like, was trying to, like, assign all the different translations of the different question words, and they got a couple of them mixed up. I'm trying to memorize just how it is, like, slightly wrong to somebody who's, like, started out with one of the languages using that word. Yeah. It's kind of difficult to, like, purposefully, like, link the wrong meaning to a word. So, if that makes sense. Like, it's like having to relearn something that can be more difficult than learning it from scratch. So, yes. Those things I do genuinely still struggle with. There are still spots that aren't being cleaned at all. But it is assigned to a handyman. So, should be dealt with eventually. They shouldn't all be stuck in the same exact area anymore. But yeah, for me, generally the Latin-based languages are melting my brain enough. Like, also with learning languages, I'm always quite insecure about saying things incorrectly to where they're either misunderstood or just complete gibberish. So, yeah. I'm not great at learning languages and practicing languages. Bundespräsidenten Stichwahl-Wiederholungsverschiebung. That one doesn't count, because, like, I'd say your native language isn't really the same thing as learning a different language. Like, I'm sure that you can, to some extent, forget your native language if you don't ever use it at all. But I'm pretty sure it's more difficult to forget that than a language you learned later on. Like, for me, I've also learned French, like, as part of education, so I didn't pick it, but I managed to pass the exams and everything, but mostly that knowledge has just disappeared from my brain. So, yep. Like, for me, I'd have to have a specific reason to learn a specific language and practice it, or Japanese. I'm not planning on going to Japan. I'm not really watching or reading stuff that's originally in Japanese, except for some games, I guess. But also not that many, so... yeah. I don't think I'd really practice it. The learning languages just isn't that much of an interest of mine. More of a necessity. You find German and Spanish to be somewhat easy. I mean, clearly it depends on personal preference. Because, for example, German grammatically is, well, somewhat close to Latin, with the level of overcomplicated silliness. So, some people especially hate that aspect, but... like, for me, Latin wasn't that weird since, like, yeah. When you're used to a system that's not that far off. Yeah. Like, overall, the park is doing alright, but it's just really not enough people. The 2,000 is enough. Well, it's not enough to build a proper coaster. Because that could draw people into the park. But do I want to increase the loan? Well, from what I know, sign language isn't one language. I believe there's different versions of it. So I think... I don't know if there's different versions of English Sign Language as well. But completely different languages do have different sign languages, I believe. Not entirely sure why, but from what I've heard. And I don't know how much overlap there is or isn't. Like, at some point I was vaguely interested in learning sign language, and then I found out that there's just so many different ones, and how would you ever pick one, and I lost interest. Because making a decision like that, that's too daunting. Yeah, sure, law is the same way, but like, somehow it just feels different when it's a language. Because like, I feel like with law it makes more sense, but like, language when you're like, I feel like media is more international, but like, legal cases a bit less international than that. So like, even on like a news segment, you might hear a bunch of different, slightly like localized, like dialects and stuff. So I can't remember if Germany has its own version of sign language, or if German as a language just has one version. No sign language. I don't know. But yeah, it's just so many options. I feel like the minimum cost is quite misleading, because I never seem to manage to build a coaster anywhere close to that price. But I also do really long station platforms, so maybe that's the problem. But I guess according to this, the junior roller coaster should be the cheapest. I'll just save and risk it. This area feels like it could fit another coaster. Or this area. Like having a station platform around there, maybe? No, I didn't say they're broken. I said I wasn't sure if they work or not. And they do seem to work. Like at some point, I think it was when I was on the front page, I had it temporarily censor out blinks, but just for safety. I think up here would be a good spot, because that way I can have stairs up, but it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be an unreasonable amount of stairs for people to climb. So this way, I'm wasting less space for trying to avoid having it collide with the path. So. Anyway. White marks on red tracks. Okay. So, I'll have them... Okay, that is with the chain lift. That's the word. Yes. So, to up here, tiny bit higher. I'll go for 50-ish there. So. Down and turn. There. Okay, then up a bit. Okay. I think the entrance and exit might get in the way here if I'm not careful. Or, well, technically the ride would get in the way of me even building the entrance and exit. So maybe I should just build them right now. There. And... which path was I using for the exits? Yeah, the darker dirt path. Let's do that then. Even if it doesn't make a huge amount of sense. Okay. I'll put a fence. Or maybe a fence that's hopefully easier to click on. Whoops. That is not what I meant to do. There. And there. Okay. Oops, that's the wrong type again. That path type. And the U. Okay. I guess it also doesn't need to be that long. Okay. So. Footpath is on the way here, alright. That actually fits. Not what I expected. No on-ride photo section for the junior roller coaster. That feels like a letdown. I mean, if your kid basically is only just old enough to go on a roller coaster, I feel like you'd probably also want a photo. Right? To me, that seems the exact target demographic for on-ride photos. Like parents taking their kid to an amusement park for the first time. There. Okay, and let's do a turn. Oh. Oops, I ran out of cash. But I'm close to being able to afford it. I think that's gonna be enough. Just need to have the money to build it. Eventually. Hopefully this coaster is actually gonna be interesting to park guests, and it... Right. When I placed the proper path design, I'd already removed the fence. Now it should work. And... okay. Money came in the meantime. So close. Come on. Come on. There. Okay. I'll save, because I don't know if I messed it up. No worries. Thanks for stopping by. Fairly long trains. But I don't think I'd want to have a large number of trains, because I think that would get dangerous. It's okay, I think. We'll see what the rating is. Medium excitement, high intensity, medium nausea. That really is not bad. So, I'll give them a bench. No. Where did all the money go? Oops. Oh well, I guess we'll just open it. There. It would have been very nice if it allowed for on-ride photos, but nope, it doesn't. So, this coaster won't really be making a lot of money for the park, or any money other than paying people paying for tickets to enter the park, and I guess paying for like food and drink to be able to stay in the park to ride this coaster some more. We'll see. But it might drain the park's funds if it doesn't increase the number of guests. Okay, at least people seem to be excited to use this coaster. And back over 1,250 guests, so... decent. And it's about to rain, so should be able to afford those extra benches and the no entry sign. The no entry sign, so people who have been on this ride can specifically use that bench if they need it. They don't have to walk any further than that to find a suitable bench. Might actually help to have the path be flat at the start and then have the stairs, and have the bench be even closer to the exit. But this is the way it's designed now, so. Oh, the umbrellas are still expensive. Right. I guess they're leaving that coaster. Somehow I felt like people from the start of the queue were just exiting by just walking past the ride, but oh well. I mean, that's one of the ways my parks stay somewhat financially stable, by charging way too much for umbrellas and then hoping for a number of rainstorms. Speaking of rainstorms, still very much a drought over here, so if we could have some rainstorms here, not just in-game, that would be nice. Maybe the weather can take some inspiration from this game. Specifically this scenario. Because I think this one has more rainstorms than most of the other scenarios. Don't know where all that money went. Like, is there any chance of the research doing anything at all? No, it's still on initial research. Okay, I'm stopping the research. We are no longer doing any research. Might not even be anything left to unlock. Or it might just take a silly amount of time. Okay. There are slightly more people in the park. Guess I should check on the shops again. Is this one still closed? No, it's open and it's... What is wrong with this balloon stall? Like, it is facing the path. See for scenery. Yeah, just nobody's buying from it. I guess that one has to go. Okay. Thunderstorm for the rest of the week after today. I'm not sure I've ever experienced a thunderstorm that lasted longer than like 24 hours at the very most. Or like rainstorm, not thunderstorm. But it does sound kind of fun, I guess, if you like thunderstorms and it's not too windy. I'd say just watching a thunderstorm can be entertaining, but well, only if you don't really have to worry about there being like trees falling over or stuff like that, or flooding, yeah. If you have to worry about that, then not as fun. But just going, ooh, loud kaboom sound, Like, I don't do fireworks, but I do like watching lightning. Yeah, I also quite like rain. I just feel like specifically thunderstorms have their own, like, it's a slightly unique experience compared to just lots of rain. So. I also just generally like things that are considered spooky, so thunderstorms fit in. As long as they're not actually destructive, because yeah. I'd rather not see trees flying around, thanks. Paths are not too crowded in any particular spot. So, that is quite nice. It does seem like there's lots of people who don't have umbrellas. As in a destructive thunderstorm or one that's just entertaining to watch. But I guess if you have, like, pets that are scared of thunderstorms, then that also would probably make it less fun for the humans. A destructive one, oh, good luck. Because I would say those can be scary. Those can be scary, but ones that are basically just the weather version of all bark, no bite. They feel very, like, atmospheric. The type that destroys trees, cars, and small houses. Yeah, that's a note from me. Ones that are stronger than just making trees shake around a bit and, like, maybe drop some leaves, maybe the smallest of branches. Stuff that's much stronger than that. I can do without. Destroyed 40 cars last night. I'm not even sure how. Like, stuff falling on top of the cars? Is it blowing the cars over? Like, okay, so falling trees. I mean, if there's a lot of areas that have cars parked next to or right under trees, yeah, that makes sense. Still not fun, but as long as it's just parked cars. At least it's just property damage. But yeah, still best to stay indoors in that type of weather. And just hope for the best. Where are the guests getting stuck? Like, is it a significant number of them? Because that would explain why the park is still kind of struggling a bit, but the park rating isn't bad, so... Just 6 of them were lost, so I don't think that it's, like, the path being broken. So... Well, I mean, if they plant a bunch of trees at the same time, then obviously the trees also, well, age over time, and eventually they become a bit unstable. Like the root system not really holding on that well anymore, or being more likely to be affected by like, plant diseases and stuff, so. I have heard of like areas needing to like replace a lot of plants at the same time because of them being plants around the same time. But I guess the other alternative would be for when they actually plant a bunch of trees, planting them at different ages. But I'd assume that's also only going to work within certain limits, because they can't be too small when you plant them. And having them be too big, I think, means they don't root into the surrounding soil as well as if they were smaller. So, yeah. Seems like, I guess over time eventually, because like that one tree needed to be cut down because it was growing at an angle and it seemed like it would get dangerous eventually, so they replaced it. And but like over like 100 years or something, it might be more different ages of trees. But at the start, yeah. Seems like they just kind of all end up running into the same exact issue. I've actually placed benches over here for some reason. There, now there's at least some benches. Yeah, of course, like fallen leaves, fallen flowers, pollen as well. Trees do drop a lot of stuff. I'd say chestnut trees are especially fun when they just drop something that kind of looks like a medieval weapon. Like the extra spiky ones. Yeah. Makes it especially exciting to go for a walk in fall. But they are very pretty trees. I think I just have to go for a marketing campaign. But the park is financially stable somehow. So maybe I could afford to build a giant new coaster as long as I can find proper space for it. As long as I can add in a photo section, then it can... It could to some point finance itself. Do I actually have enough space for it? I mean, this area could build over top of here. And it did leave some amount of room around that coaster, so it might be able to make it work. I guess I'll save again, because building coasters is risky. So, which coaster style? I guess... Oh, I didn't even change the design of the other one. Yeah. Completely forgot about that. Yep. I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter from a gameplay perspective, but I still want it to fit in with the rest of the card. I guess the vehicles actually already fit in pretty well. Okay. pines randomly snap, as in, like, break when it gets too cold? I thought pine trees are supposed to be especially good at handling the cold. But I guess not all of them. But I kind of thought that was just kind of what pine trees are all about. Managing winter. Hence not dropping their needles. Or are pine trees the ones that do drop their needles? I know there is a type of tree that does drop its needles. Clearly, trees are also not my area of expertise. It's a very long list of things that I don't know too much about. Yeah, trees making noises, like, because of the snow on them and stuff. I do think I've heard that before. Would be kind of fun if I could build the station platform through here. Feels a bit silly, but also tempting. Maybe I go there? I think it should... Ah, right. It might not fit over top of the other station platform. Even if I wanted to. You've heard asphalt cracking due to the cold. Yeah, that does seem like it would be very loud. Why does this wheel need quite this much? Do they rotate it that far? Yeah, I guess they do. I thought they just lifted up slightly. But they lift up almost all the way. Actually, maybe this orientation makes more sense than having it go over top of the path. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going with. There. Because I think that should make it easier to do entrance and exit. And how long do I want the station platform? Because I'm tempted to go for a shorter station platform, but still try and build the coaster to be quite long. I'll see how it goes. So, does that work? Okay, so I can't have them launch the coaster with like some sort of booster. So, there. Just fairly standard stuff. Okay. Adhesive failing. I mean, I've never really experienced that, I think. Metal shattering? I've definitely not experienced that. What kind of metal? Like, I guess metals do tend to be bendier when they're warmer. So more brittle when they're colder, but I guess it would have to be a type of metal that needs to bend in everyday use. So like using a paper clip out in the freezing cold. Yeah, I'm just wondering about what types of, like, usage cases of metal we're talking about here. Because if it's like, let's say, car door, I don't think that has to bend that much. Outside of a traffic collision. Because there, its ability to bend is kind of important, but... yeah. Pretty sure that's not gonna work out. But I'm tempted to try it. I'll just save right before, in case it deletes part of the scenery. Because it could be fun if it works. I think it might. Okay. Yeah, it's working surprisingly well. Alright. I think I'll have them flat for a tiny bit longer. Maybe one more. Wait, do I have an on-ride photo section? Yes, it is available. Let's have the on-ride photo section down here. Just cause. Have it be a very scenic location for the on-ride photo. Okay. Maybe a tiny bit further actually. So, photo section like here. Okay. There. Kinda like that. So, is this gonna be a problem? Yes. There is no way that that's going to work. Absolutely no way. Yeah, that's higher than this part. How would that ever work? That is not how physics works. I mean, even this feels like it's unlikely. But at least it's not higher than the previous one, just the exact same height. But there's still no way. Unless I was able to launch them. Like, with a certain amount of speed. Cable hill lift, okay. Can I do that? And if so, how? Okay. Not like that, at least. Oh, maybe I can do it back here. Oh. Wrong direction. The hill actually connected. Why is it in the way? How big is that? Right, it's bits. So, how is that hill supposed to work? Do I start a new coaster just so I can test it? I started up here, actually. Up here. Okay. And then... there, okay. That's what it's supposed to do. What's the point of that? Not sure how and why. Because I mean, it's called a cable lift, and that was going down in the right direction. So I don't understand. Because I can't just build the equivalent of that on the way up. So I'm also wondering what would happen if you, like, build this thing but have only some sections have the lift and you have a longer train. It's like if I did this. Like, this section has it, this section doesn't, this section has it, then this section wouldn't. I do kind of wonder if that would work at all. Probably not very well. Yeah, this type of lift is just convenient. Why can't more rides have that? Yeah, kind of made it seem like I'm able to go and angle it and still have it be a chain lift, but no. It doesn't work like that. So maybe I can manage to go a tiny bit higher and still have the other section pretty much the same. Almost. Maybe this could connect. So. Tiny bit higher. Flat. Okay, now it's getting too silly. Or is it? Maybe I can still make this work. And then the photo section. And then... I don't think that destroyed anything. Did it? Doesn't look like it. I think that will hopefully not break the laws of physics. That'd be nice. Because now we're starting from a height of 55.5 meters, and then hopefully they'll have the momentum to go up to 51. We'll see. I just don't think they'll magically find more momentum along the way. So. I don't think we can have more than one right photo. At this point, they're probably kind of slow, but I'm not sure if they're going to be slow enough for this. I'm trying to go around that thing. I think I'll just go for the safe option and make it a banked turn. And then try and... yeah, not quite. Smaller turn radius. I mean, this is starting to look kind of interesting, even if it wasn't what I was going for. So I'll go with it now. Wasn't my original intention, but who says I have to stick with that? So... can I make this work? No. Can't do that. But this type of hill should work. No. Still too close to the ground. Have to make it a lot shorter. Like, if those sections that are the steepest slope sections, if I could just do a shorter section of that, then I think it would have worked. Like, I don't see why not. But this is fine too. So, I do think that going through here would be kind of fun. Maybe a tiny bit further. And then back to there. And... oh, I ran out of money. Whoops. That was bound to happen. I'm making quite a silly coaster. And then... if I go up a bit to go over top of the other part. Might get away with it. Might not. That's not going to be high enough, is it? So... hopefully that works. And then... like, I don't think they're going to be extremely fast at this point. So... try... having them do a turn that isn't backed. And then... I guess here... oh, fine. Don't see why that isn't going to fit. Oh, fine, it's just too low. Fine, fine. Up a tiny bit, and then it should fit, I think. Okay. So... just a slow turn. to try and eventually meet up on that side without interfering with this coaster too much. Okay. Ran out of money again. This is a very expensive coaster. Actually, if I could manage to aim this coaster through here, it could be fun. I do like the sound of it. But is it anything I could actually do? I think that fits. Yep. Oh, no, it doesn't. No. I don't think so. Up a bit? No. Down a bit? Oh, yes, that worked. I think it was just a really close call, and that's just helped just enough. So, now, how do I get onto that station platform at a reasonable speed that won't break anyone's neck? Will it work? Okay, I think the entrance is causing a problem there. So... maybe I can get away with that turn. Angle. And then flat. And turn the other way. No, that's not the other way. This is the other way. And yeah, that kind of works. Somehow. Doesn't look like it should work, but I don't care, I'll take it. Okay. I think that should fit. And once again, add money. More money. Thank you. And I still need to go down a bit, actually. Yes. Starting here. Wasn't that much, good. And then back to turn and connect it. Alright, so it's a very long coaster with a rather short station platform. So it's just going to be a very exclusive coaster. And the entrance goes right here. Exit goes there. Alright, and hopefully the coaster actually works. So it doesn't crash. It's survivable. I think it might work. Slight hill, but it is enough. It's not the most exciting coaster, but there's some decent scenery. So... I don't know if scenery actually factors into the ratings. It does. It seems to factor into some aspects. High excitement, medium intensity, medium nausea. Alright, good. Sounds sounds like it might end up being quite a popular coaster. So, I'll change the vehicle to be... Let's make it a golden carriage, kind of. Yes. There. Because this coaster was expensive. Okay. There. Canvas tent. Lovely. And a path to actually connect it. Hopefully I left enough room. Okay, yeah, that works. And I think it should also work just as well on the other side. Looks good. So, still add in one extra bench and the no entries sign there. And the coaster is open. We'll start queuing. They are. That was a lot of people walking past, but only one of them decided to queue. Still, only just opened it, and there's already a couple of people queuing up for it. And it's not that long of a queue, or that high capacity of a coaster, so it doesn't need a huge number of people. It just needs people to be excited about the existence of this coaster. It's just a very exclusive one. I think the on-ride photo is for ride type, even if I pick the same price throughout the park. So I think €3 is usually the price they accept. Oh yeah, the queue is full now, I think. Oh well. I just have to wait for it. Yeah. Shouldn't make the queue any longer, I think. So, the queue is like 2 full trains, I think. So if I make it any longer of a queue without adding more trains, then that's gonna cause problems. I could make it slightly longer back here. But not by much. I don't want to mess with it too much. So, hopefully once the rain stops, there are going to be a couple new people coming to the park because of the new coaster. Otherwise, I still have to invest in the advertising campaign. I mean, it's not the worst thing. 1,300 guests. But I do think people probably like this coaster. Yeah. One person was thinking about the coaster, then went, oh, the park's so tidy, and then went, can't find it. Where is that coaster? I really enjoyed being on that coaster, but I lost track of it. Okay. I mean, it's not that small of a coaster, you should see it from further away. But that person got flung off of it. Like, entrance and exit are right across from each other, so... not being able to find the entrance again after you've exited the ride. Meanwhile, the exit and the entrance are facing each other, so... yeah. I don't know. The game's weird sometimes. Why is nobody queuing for this? Some people are, just not many. I guess the amount of interest has just gone down. It's a 7-year-old coaster, and it's a very short one, because I didn't have the money. And now there's more money. Or at least, I spent more money. And the loan is significant. Maybe I can charge slightly more. I did get the Best Value Park award not that long ago. So... can I charge people just €5 extra to enter the park? Because that might help. Especially if there's new people coming in. Which, I mean, to some extent there always is, because there are always people leaving, and the number is not just, well, falling off a cliff. So, it is staying fairly stable. This area isn't clean enough. How many guests are complaining about stuff like crowding and the path being filthy? 17 are thinking it's really clean and tidy. Okay. If you're at an amusement park, wouldn't the park being clean and tidy being something... wouldn't that be something you don't really notice? Like one of those things where you only really notice it when it's going wrong. You think you'd notice it? I mean, I guess it depends on your expectation of how clean and tidy a park should be. But I feel like I'm not looking for if there is a lack of trash laying around. I feel like then I'd be focused on other stuff, like the scenery. Lemonade is apparently still good value. I've increased the price a couple of times now. I guess it's not that many people saying it, so I'll just not mess with it. Something whirling on the Ferris wheel. There's options, just go for the other rides. Tidy, so not too many major complaints other than wanting to go home, people who just need to buy food and go to the bathroom and buy something to drink. Plenty available, they just need to do that. And a number of people running out of cash. Some of them are finding ATMs, but yeah, I think they're finding them. So, that's alright then. See. This balloon stall is not especially popular. and it's making a loss. So, people in this park don't like balloons all that much. I guess I'll just stop selling balloons. It's a bit of a shame, but people here don't want them, so... So the other ones are doing decently well. Some of the restrooms are making a profit. That's nice. And one of the information desks is making a loss. Wait, which one is that? Is this one above ground or underground? That one's above ground. So, what? Oh, fine, it's just making less money. I don't know. Maybe it was just a glitch. But yeah, only some of the restrooms, not all of them, and obviously the ATMs and the first aid rooms, because those don't actually make any money on their own. I might notice if a park is clean and tidy if it's a place that's usually not clean and tidy. Like, to me, I feel like it has to be unexpected in some way for it to be very noticeable. Tidiest park in the country. Alright. And that's even though they are not really mowing the lawn. But who cares? The handyman have other things to do. Mowing the lawn isn't a priority. Like, are they watering the plants in that one area? Because before those flowers looked a bit... sad. This area. Well, some of the flowers aren't really getting watered, but the rest are. And this one's just... weird. So, not entirely sure if they're getting watered, but these do look very freshly watered. So, I mean, at least they are taking care of the landscaping to some extent. Okay. So, that ride is currently closed. Yeah, I think both of those just broke down. Might want to hire another handyman, or no, another mechanic there. Because there are quite a few rides breaking now. Like, the park has been around for 8 years, so I guess it makes sense that the rides are in need of maintenance. Lots and lots of maintenance. Yeah, the number of guests is not really changing that much. So. Marketing campaign it is. So, for a particular ride, I guess I could go with the one I just built. So, there. Feels like that one should be somewhat enticing. We'll see. I mean, it's new, and the ratings on it seem like a crowd pleaser type of attraction for a park like this, so. I mean, there are at least some people coming in. Might not be related to the advertising, but we'll see if the guest numbers really change. Yeah, this coaster is mostly empty at this point. Well, it's definitely less than 50% of seats actually being in use, and even less on this one. Like, it's maybe like 2 passengers or something, or customers, whatever. This ride is not good enough. But I don't know if altering it would make any difference. Because I think part of the reason is just that it's been around for the entire existence of the park, so people aren't interested in it. And I don't know if altering anything about it would change that perception. Like, I don't know if it's a game mechanic or not. Might be. But yeah, built 7 years ago. And I do think part of the game mechanic is just that they end up less interested the longer the coaster has been around. And yeah, adding more stuff to it, I don't know if they care. Sure, but there is also the, oh, this ride has just been around for ages, where they're just kind of losing interest over time. Like, this one's almost empty as well. Was this the rather silly one? No. This was the more approachable version. This is the rather silly one. And there is one person on the ride, I think. Yeah. The park is struggling. I mean, something I could do is just delete the existing ride and replace it with the same exact ride and the same exact spot. Because then it counts as new. But with the custom-built coasters, that's more annoying to do, so... Don't know. I mean, there's slightly more people in the park, but yeah. I do think part of the reason is just the aging rides. Officially close this one. And then tear it down and replace it with basically the same thing. Okay. It's gone, and which one do I add in its place? I think the same one again. Yeah. Could have gone for a slightly different one. I'll probably make it slightly shorter. There. Entrance, exit, and obviously this one needs to be completely different, so the tents on this one are gonna be a different shade of brown. There. completely different. Okay. There. Nothing like a ride that was there. And then I still need to make sure the settings are right and test it. No, I have not. I've played RollerCoaster Tycoon 1. I've played some Planet Coaster. I think there's now Planet Coaster 2. I played the first one, not the second. I've played some other games that are a vaguely similar genre, like city builder type games. But like I've played Theme Park as well. But as for the RollerCoaster Tycoon franchise, I've only played the first and now the second game. Okay, are people going to be excited about the ride that's basically the same as the one that was there before, but this one's new? Well, for now it's raining, so I guess that's not that interesting. Finances are actually improving, so I do think there's more people coming into the park. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Well, probably the rain as well. I guess there's a couple of new park guests since the last big rainstorm. Now that it's not raining anymore, I guess I wait for a bit, and then I can check if basically how many of the rides are basically just empty the entire time. Because that seems kind of important. Because that one seems empty. But it's not closed. Oh, there are 6 people on the ride, fine. This one? How many people are currently on the ride? 9 people. Okay. That's an improvement. This one? Oh, okay. They are managing to fill that one. There's one more around here. Yeah, that looks full. Actually, no, that's just 4 people, but there are people on there. How about the spinny one? 10 people. I mean, I see those moving, so clearly there's people. Ferris wheel's fairly new. This ride has broken down. I guess that makes it easier to check how many people are on there. 20. Could be worse. I mean, it has capacity for way more, but that might actually be messing with it to some extent. Because I think there might be too many vehicles on that ride now. At least with people losing interest in it. Yeah, I mean, this one's still doing okay. So maybe refreshing that one ride also helps out some of the other ones. Not so much for this coaster. This one is still struggling. Like, is it really? Oh, actually, now there's more people. Fine. So it's not going to be as low as like 8 guests for the entire ride. 14 at least. Capacity is way higher than that, but... well. So I do think I should redesign it. Or at least attempt to redesign it. And see if that improves the situation. It might. But it might not. There. The ride is now closed. Alright. I'll just... oops. That was actually not the part I was trying to get rid of. Oh well. I guess this section can stay for now. Okay. So... wrong way. More rain, that's good for business. I'm wondering if I could maybe make the lift look a bit more interesting. Maybe something like that? Okay. What do I do after that? Actually, maybe I just stop the lift up here. Okay. And then turn. That's... that was a pretty drastic turn. Okay. That actually fits. Okay. Didn't think that would fit over top of there, but I have been proven wrong. Okay, so turn over here. Turn the other way. I don't think that's gonna fit. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, that doesn't work either. That actually works. Okay. It doesn't have to be the most exciting coaster. It is slightly better than before, I think. It should at least be slightly faster than before. Take note of what the ratings were. Probably should have. I mean, it looks okay. Not that different. still counts as having been built 7 years ago. I'll just open it, see if there's any difference. Obviously, while it's raining, people aren't gonna ride it, but that's beside the point. Just need to wait for the rain to end, and then I should get some indication if the changes make any sort of difference to people's behaviour. I mean, I can redesign it some more. Okay. And one person is queuing, 2 people. 2 people, 3 people. Oh, one person stopped queuing. Why? 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 Okay. Just queued for it and decided to not. So. People currently on the ride. I mean, it hasn't been open again for that long, so should at least give it a couple of minutes for people to queue for it, since they don't queue during rainstorms. But I do think if it was a completely newly built ride, people would be more interested in it, and of course it's raining again. The rain is just trolling me now. I mean, could I manage to have this ride be underground entirely? I'd have to do some amount of landscaping. Like, actually editing the terrain. And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do that on this map. Or even some people queuing during the rain. I wonder if the queuing area being covered or not makes any difference to whether or not people want to queue for this ride in the rain. Because the ride itself is out in the rain if it is raining. Not anymore now. Okay. More people queuing. Come on. I think before I changed anything about the ride, they did have like 14 people on the ride at the same time. And if it can't even get to that, then I think I need to completely redesign it, and it's gonna rain again. Actually, it's kind of filling up now, so... Food and drink, I'm not sure. They don't really walk that far to get a food and drink stall. Like, they want them nearby to where they already are. But if I put something like a transport ride nearby, then maybe. Also 18 guests on the ride at the same time, so slightly better. But I don't think it resets their idea of how old the ride is. Because you could technically delete the entire thing and completely rebuild it while it's still the same ride, according to the game. I don't think it cares how much of the tracks you've replaced. As long as it's not an entirely separate ride. I would feel actual real-life podcasts, they would probably care about this sort of thing. Going, oh yeah, this ride that's, like, been a guest favorite for years and years has been changed. I feel like people would want to experience it and then probably complain about the changes. But I don't think people would just not care at all. I guess these people are just... they're so occupied with all the other things they could be doing. So yeah, I'll just completely rebuild that one. Now I've got my answer. But at least it wasn't too much of a financial mistake. So, everyone off of the ride. Just gonna completely close it and probably rebuild part of it, but also redesign it. I just like the starting part of the lift. So. I do want something slightly similar to that. Okay, I think there might still be some people on that one. I'll make sure everyone can leave. Okay, hope that's all the people. Okay, so I delete the coaster. And I start some type of coaster that I can put in the same space. Probably just the same coaster type, but figured I'd at least consider doing something different. That one is the original style. Spiral lift. Do any of the other ones mention that? I think there's only one type that has that. Oh, 300 feet. I mean, I don't know what convert to in meters, but it's a large number. Yeah, I think it's just gonna be the same exact one. Okay. And I think this should work. Entrance and exit. Yep. And then lift. I mean, I could design it slightly differently. So... that seems kind of fun. And I'll just go as tall as I can build it. Oh, slightly shorter, just so it's a more convenient angle. Then flat for a tiny bit, and then big drop. I guess I could have them twist that way, and then turn. Oh. Didn't mean to still be on a slope for that. So. Turn. There. take a turn. Alright. Nice and tangled. Then I'll have them sure, that works. Okay. I have them turn the other way already. I guess I can. I'll try and make that one more of a gentle turn there. And then... ah, ran out of money. Of course I did. Okay. That doesn't quite work. So... can't make that fit. How about here? That didn't quite work. So... act, hunt down. There, now both work. Huh. Why isn't it working? Oh, I think it's because it's at an angle there. Yeah. So, was that style of turn, then it will probably work. Yeah. Won't work. And yeah, I don't think I'll manage to navigate in this mess. How am I gonna get these people back out of that? Under the other coaster. I don't think I'll manage to make that fit. So they do need to get back. I don't think people want to stay on this coaster forever. Okay, that deletes one of the animatronics. It's not the worst. As long as I can make the rest of it fit. I don't think it will. Oh well. It's alright. Just need to not make the coaster way too complicated. It's just gonna cause problems. It's just difficult to keep things simple. let's hit these. Actually, could I go that direction? Okay. And then any point in trying this. And if I go further away, just here, it might just fit. No. Bit too close to the castle. That's the same exact one. There. This should be slightly shorter. No, still same exact problem. How about now? Okay. Huh. So, go for a slightly different approach. Because that one still does not work. Nope. Oh, I think the other coaster is actually the one that's in the way, not the castle. Well, he's probably both. Yep. It is. How about that? Yep, I think that worked. Okay. Yep, that's working. Okay. There, so at least they should get a tiny bit of momentum there. And then... I don't think that's very reasonable. Well, actually, could work. Wait, maybe it will work. The other way around, boy, this coaster is going to be the most expensive, and I'm deleting some of the flags. Yeah, it's fine. All in the name of making a profitable and popular amusement park. Yes. Something like that. And then this type of turn. Down, down. Hey, I don't think the path will allow me to do much of a drop there. So I think I'd have to aim for this section, which I can try to do. Yep, there. No. Or, well, not enough space. But they might not have enough momentum to go even higher up. And then do a drop from there. I was already trying to solve the problem, but yeah, I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'll try it. And to get back out. So I do need to also think about how they're gonna get to the station platform. Okay. Thought that worked last time. Didn't it? I guess maybe I had just a normal sloped piece and then turning. Yeah. That looks more reasonable. Okay. And flat. Whoops, I misclicked. There. Flat. Okay. And then I need to connect that. So, how do I do that? It's gonna be too high. I think so is that, but maybe this has a chance of working. I don't think it'll connect. I'll just try from the other end of the coaster, see if I can come up with a better idea from here. So... right, that doesn't work. Somehow I already forgot. How do I make these coaster tracks connect? Will I be able to do that? Not quite. So... an aspect to the right. Yeah. And then not enough space to do that. Of course. Okay. Let's try changing it a tiny bit then. So now the S-bend to the right. Oh, that destroyed another animatronic. It's okay. And okay, that doesn't work. I guess I can shorten that path if necessary. Yep. Okay. So. That's definitely going to destroy the cannon. Could this connect? maybe I could already start on the incline here. Okay. I'm trying to make this turn work. Any possible way that this would fit. I feel like it's not that far off, but it's just a bit of a silly plan. I think the path is in the way. Nope. The other part of the coaster is in the way. Okay. Interesting. That works, sure. I'll go with that. Okay. And then the wrong height, of course. It's just so close. Not quite there. Maybe if I had it go flat, then up, and then the turn. That does not work. Okay. So there might be slightly different versions of doing a similar thing here, but they don't seem to be helping. I guess just standard slope and then a turn. Oh, that might actually be a bit too much. Fine. Just this height. And then I just need to connect it. Something like that. There. That works. Or does it? Time to test the coaster! Hope it'll make the park more popular, but for now I just hope it doesn't crash and actually functions. Okay, so this is just a one-train version. Because I made the station platform even shorter, I guess. Not sure how long the previous station platform was anymore. So, will it work? And that way looks fairly gentle. turn. And then we're... I think we have some non-banked. Ooh, yeah, that one's bad. That one still looks quite fast. Okay, how is this going to be rated? It's too much. Okay. Extreme. Not ultra extreme. I think that technically is one they'll be okay with. Some guests, I think, are going to be okay with it, because it doesn't have the rating of being so ridiculous it's not survivable. So, it kind of works. And then since it's supposed to be a battering ram, I guess brown and the silver there. Okay, I'll save again. And open the coaster. Come on. Please be excited about the new coaster. One person is queuing. It's probably too intense for most of them now, but fine. At least it has an audience. Even if it's a limited one. A very limited one. And I guess... that exit A. No entry sign. But yeah, there are people queuing for it. A lot of people. So... I mean, for now it's raining, so... Of course, there's even fewer people queuing. But some of them are not queuing because they're shocked, but I think some of them just aren't queuing because it's raining. Like that person. That person as well. Well, yeah, that one was shocked. Yeah, same as that one. So, the ones that do the jumping animation, I don't think they would want to ride on this coaster regardless of weather. But the ones that aren't doing that animation, I think their reasoning is just the rain. So, once it eventually stops raining, you get more of an indication of if this coaster is gonna make any amount of sense. Oh, I think I didn't add an on-ride photo. Yeah, completely forgot. That's gonna be horrible for the park's finances. Oh well. Well, I guess the running costs of the previous coaster weren't really being covered by the on-ride photos anymore, so it's probably not that bad. Because I think at most people were just going on that coaster multiple times, but not that many park guests. It's like percentage-wise, I don't think it was that many people. Because then the on-ride photos aren't as useful. Because they only buy them once. Now the coaster is a bit much to the majority of people. But some people might really like it. There are some thrill seekers in this park, I know it. Like that person, that person. Turning it into a bit of a traffic jam of all the people who consider going on the coaster and decide against it. So... I'll make it so it tries to wait for a full load of passengers, but that might take too long, so alternatively wait 50 seconds? Sure. that seems like an acceptable number of seconds. Should start moving at some point. Still hasn't started. Why not? I feel like it's already been 50 seconds. Alright, there, now it's going. But yeah, it just seems more reasonable to run it more like this. And maybe at some point there's gonna be enough people queuing for it. But I have no clue if it would even lower the running costs at all. To just not have it do the entire track constantly while empty. But there are people queuing. That's a longer queue than on the previous version, but to be fair, the previous one had 2 trains instead of just 1. So that would also make a difference. I am regretting not adding that on-ride photo. Oh well, I forgot. And the number of guests is not really changing that much. Hopefully the new extremely intense, or was it excitement that was extreme? Intensity was extreme. Yeah. Hopefully the extremely intense coaster will draw in a couple more guests to the park. I mean, I guess I could do a specific advertising campaign for it. Because, I mean, there are people who like that type of coaster. They just need to know about it. 4 weeks. Let's go. Yeah, they are queuing up. And the ride is also taking a bit longer than the previous version, so... I guess that also means there is just going to be more of a queue, even if it was identical in, like, excitement rating. But, yeah. I don't know. They are really liking those benches now. I'll add in even more. There. Seems they'll need it. Okay, so are there going to be more people entering the park now? Not seeing a big difference. I mean, there has to be something that's limiting this park's potential. Maybe it is just the fact that the paths are slightly confusing. So some people are getting lost. That might be the reason why some of them end up having to leave, because of them being miserable. Because they ended up lost and then starving. I don't know if having a ride that's too exciting near the entrance would scare people off. Because having a ride that's too boring, I feel like that's more likely to scare people off. Because they were definitely complaining about that. Going like, oh yeah, the Ferris wheel, that's not intense enough for me. Or not exciting enough, I think, is the specific... characteristic they were complaining about. More appealing, yeah. I would hope that this coaster would do that. Especially combined with the advertising. That would be nice. Still need 1,500 guests in this park. We're still fairly close to it. Close to 1,300 again. Only like 200 guests left to go. Where am I going to find 200 additional park guests? I mean, I guess I could just do more financially risky advertising campaigns, like free entry to the park. That should have an effect. I'll save first, because that seems like a mistake. But one way to find out. So, free entry. How much can I afford to do? Sure, I'll do the full 6 weeks. Go for it. So, there. You can now enter this park for free if you have a voucher. So please show up. Oh, yep. Yep. It's having an effect. Can't deny that. And hopefully the park extracts enough value from people to convince them to spend the money that they otherwise would have spent at the entrance. I guess they can spend it on candied apples instead. We'll see. Back to 1,300. It is raining, so I do think that might mess with things. Because people don't really want to go on rides while it's raining, so I don't know if they're more likely to leave the park or less likely to enter the park. But I do definitely know that they don't like to queue for rides. Unless the ride is somehow not exposed to the rain. Because I think then it actually increases the popularity of that one. It's just a bit ridiculous to build this inside a building. Or underground. I do like how the two coasters kind of tangled together here. Even more than they did before, so. I guess maybe I need to add a couple more animatronics again. And just add something around. That one even kind of looks like he's interacting with the people on the ride. Okay, so there's dark nights and just night. I guess they have different armor. that one. Or is that the same one again? I don't know. They look so similar. Don't know if there's a big difference between the animations. I mean, I guess that one, while resting, is holding the sword up, whereas the other one, like, it's just slightly different. Good enough. Well, he is standing right in front of the cannon. that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'll put him next to the cannon. Hopefully those will improve things slightly. And I guess I can look for more stuff to place around. That doesn't fit. How big is that? Guess it has a large tree in there. Anyway. Sure. Not enough space, so can't even check how big it is. So. And then just a couple more trees. Is that tree gonna fit? Maybe there? No. Nope. There. Okay. And then... that one or the other one? Does that building have an entrance? It looks like it does, but I'm just not really seeing it. Oh, there. Just from the other angle, I guess. So, there. Fire. Weapon set. Sure. Could try and make that fit somewhere. Just more trees. That works too. There. Okay. More trees over in this section. Just to try and make it a slightly more themed ride. I tried. So, number of guests is increasing. Almost at 1,400. It really might just be the free entry that's making the difference there, but if it works. I'll try and decorate some more in the meantime. Maybe that guy? Sure. He can have a hut that is clearly too small for him. Yeah, why not? Actually, I'll do it the other way around. So, a hut in the background. There. And who is he attacking? Stools. Sure. I think he's aiming around here. So. He's trying to chop some stools to, I guess, turn them into firewood. Sure. It'll do. And obviously he's doing that with a sword, because anything else would be silly. Maybe more cannons and places, just for the added excitement. It's gonna be very exciting to get your candied apple. So there's a cannon. Okay. Guess I can add one of these somewhere. Maybe it can remind people that they should also be buying food. Bucket of water next to it. To also remind people that fire safety exists. Farm tools. Can I place those against the wall of the building? No, not really. Nope. They're just kind of hovering. They don't seem to be supported by anything, so... yeah. Could put a tiny tent somewhere. Sure. I'll just recolor it so it fits in a bit better. There and there. Now it should look like it fits in. There, I'll just put it here. For no good reason. Just to make the exit more confusing. Like, they don't really have training dummies or anything like that. Well, I have to put that sword somewhere. Wait. Forgot about this coaster. This one seems quite abandoned. Maybe I can make it more interesting. going to be lectured by the animatronic on their way out. And it's gonna be hidden in the forest, obviously. I'll just have that sort of out in the open. There, another large tree. Some more trees over here. Different angle at least, so it looks slightly different, not like an exact clone of the other tree. And more of the smaller trees as well. Just to make it look more cohesive. I guess I might have been able to fit one of the larger trees there, but too many of them will just look like it's a bunch of the same exact tree. And that doesn't help. And the coaster broke down. Too many trees, I guess. I mean, having to clear leaves off of a roller coaster, that does sound like a chore. Why is the number of guests going down? Is the advertising campaign already over? Yes. Fine. More free entry to the park. Maybe I can bribe them. And free... soup. Yes. Come on. Enter the park for free to get your free soup. Somewhere. Oh, there's one of the soup stalls. I don't know if that's the only one. But who's gonna say no to free soup? I don't think I can try and have the flags make more sense. I guess I could just remove that one. There's no smaller flags. They're all basically the same size. Yeah, it's good enough. At least now it's symmetrical. No longer looks like I just accidentally deleted a couple of them. Bit of a traffic jam here at some point. Do I want to make this basically a roundabout? I think I'll try. But I also think park guests are going to hate it. So... I guess this will do. And... I think... most roundabouts I'm familiar with. Yeah. This direction. It probably depends on the traffic direction. So... actually, I think that's on the wrong side. Nope, I deleted the path. That is not what I meant to do. Whoops, I deleted more of the path. Well, it's one way to deal with things. There. This was more what I was thinking. So this would be no entry. And then this, I think. Yep. And that's it. Yeah. I think that should work. So now should kind of be a functional roundabout. Mostly. Not counting this specific corner, but that's alright. And also not counting this section right there. But details. I guess I could just add that section in as well. That just makes sense. There. Good enough. Because I think that should make it appear less crowded to park guests. Because at least now they're not trying to go in opposite directions on the same path. So now, well, with the exception of that bit, the entire path just goes one way. So. Because if you have people going in both directions, you also need a tiny bit of space between them. So they don't slap each other. Like, even just by accident. So, if they're going the same way, then you can cram people closer together. Any other spots that seem to experience crowding? It's not that bad up here. Not that bad up on the castle wall. Is this ride even open? Yes. But hardly anyone bothers to go on that ride. The number of park rests is going up at year 10. Wow. That means I've spent like 9 full hours on this park because it's the start of year 10. And the end of year 10 would be 10 hours. So, yeah. And that's just time spent having it unpaused. Because there's only one speed setting. There's a bit of a mess building up here. Strange. What is that? There are bins. I guess they're just not using them. Oh, stuff is also getting broken. I'll just add in more bins. There. Now they'll have to come up with a new excuse for why they're littering. Almost at full 1,500. This area turned into quite a mess of coasters. I'd assume from the guest's perspective it would be interesting to look at. It's just from this angle that it looks a bit crowded. Or like, it's just a lot of coasters tangled together. So. Anyway. Couple more park guests. There are still a number of people leaving park. Oh, yeah, that's there. Fine, still 4 guests to go. 3 guests to go. Nope, 4 guests. 5 guests. 4 guests. 2 guests. Come on. And yes! That's 1,500. Yes! Did anyone release a balloon? Because we did have a balloon stall, but nobody wanted to buy them. I don't see any balloons. No wonder those balloon stalls were struggling. Nobody bought one. Practically no one. Yes, I did it. Company value of 151,000. And I did manage to have 1,500 park guests without having the park rating drop below 700. Like, after first having it go above 700. Yeah, that worked out. There. And I will save. And close the game. Yes. Don't really have the time to start a whole new park right now. But I will be continuing the game next Tuesday. It's actually going to be the last week of July already. Because August is the month that I celebrate my stream anniversary. So, yep, it's gonna be 9 years. Which is still weird to think about. Still need to make more exact plans of how the anniversary celebration is going to work out. We shall see. But for now, we just need to pick somebody to raid. I don't... I think I've heard of the game Gex, but I don't remember anything specific other than possibly having heard the name before. So, time to find out more. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow with more Hitman 2. And, in case any of you don't know, Thursdays are commandos behind enemy lines. So, yeah. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.